Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we're going to take a look at a John Cougar Mellencamp song that actually broke him big. This was the song that made him a household name. We have nothing else by John Mellencamp on the channel. He's just one of those guys. He was around a lot in the 80s, had hits. As he went along, he started putting out better material. I did become something of a fan, but later. It was about 20 years after, he was putting out hits like this. The song we're looking at today did catch my ear back in the day, and I thought, that's really a very cool song. That's really interesting how they put that together. Didn't sound anything like anything else on the radio, really, and it turns out that it just barely made the album. There is a music video. The song is Jack and Diane. Many people know the song. I've quoted from one of the catchphrases over the years, sucking on a chili dog. It's like whenever the situation is proper, I always come out with sucking on a chili dog. And I know it's silly, but that's how it is. So I actually have the record, but I only picked it up recently. I only picked it up within the last couple of years. As a matter of fact, I noticed that the cover has different coloring. It's supposed to be white with green, I think. So I don't know where this was made, but it was 1982. He was going by John Cougar, not John Cougar Mellencamp, not John Mellencamp. And that's another part of his story is he was kind of put out there by his manager as almost kind of like the new boy singer kind of a thing who does rock and roll. He's a bit of a bad boy. His early albums, not that great in general. The manager or whomever, maybe the record labels he was on, had a little too much power over him. And he shook that off, to his credit. After this album, he goes by John Cougar Mellencamp, and then the next album, I think he was just John Mellencamp, which is where he's been ever since. Before getting into too much more having to do with the song, why don't we listen to this and watch the video? I have seen the video, but it's probably been about 40 years because, again, this was a hit in 82. It showed up once in a while on MTV. I really don't have much of a recollection of it, except that it looked like it was a bunch of Super 8 movies, like home movies, but that's all I really remember. Adrian, what's your experience with this song or with John Mellencamp?
Early MTV. I remember, when the song came out. Mm-hmm. I was actually in a school band. And this was one of the first songs we tried to play, and nobody could get it. So.
Oh, yeah? That's interesting. What was the problem that people were having with the song?
Technical, musical knowledge difficulties, egotism.
Yeah. It's unusual because there's no bass for a while. Apparently it started, well, let me not get too deep into it right now, but just give it a listen and take a listen to how different it is from most other songs. Let's check it out. We'll talk after.
Little ditty about Jack and Diane, two American kids growing up in the heartland. Jackie gonna be a football star, Diane's debutante backseat of Jackie's car. Sucking on chili dog outside Taste Freeze. Diane sitting on Jackie's lap, got his hands between her knees. Jackie say, hey Diane, let's run off behind the shady trees. Dribble off those Bobby Brooks, let me do what I please. Say, oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Say, oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. To walk on. was his best James Dean. Well, then there Diane gotta run off to the city. Diane says, baby, you ain't missing nothing. But Jackie say, oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Oh yeah, they say life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. So let it rock, let it roll, let the Bible belt come and save my soul. Hold on to 16 as long as you can. Changes come around real soon, make us women and men. Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Oh yeah, they say life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. A little ditty about Jack and Diane, two American kids doing the best they can.
So lots of really interesting stuff going on with that song. Pretty cool video, by the way. You know, it actually told a story that was the lyrics, which is refreshing. You don't always get that in videos. But what did you think, Adrian, in general? Observations?
A trip down memory lane hearing that song.
Well, there's a lot of things about it that I never really registered in my head before, until now, really. I am going to be looking at a Kenny Aronoff interview on Modern Rock Top. As we record this, it'll be tonight, and then I'm going to try putting this up tomorrow, which will be Saturday. And he was the drummer. He became a huge session drummer after this. At the time, Johnny Cougar was struggling. He hadn't really broken out yet. I don't know if this was his last chance or what, but they had something like 20 songs written. We're trying to get a good album together. This particular song was not really slated for the album. It was kind of more of an acoustic thing, and Kenny thought it was a good song and said, I'm going to see what I can do to try to get this thing on the record by putting together some good drum tracks. And I'll get more into that in the interview portion. However, just suffice to say that he created that whole thing at the end, which kind of makes the song in a lot of ways. But did you notice there is only one spot in the entire song where there's any bass guitar, and it's the second chorus. And that's it. Other than that, you hear occasional synthesizer bass, and that's it. That's it. And it's not that loud either. So it's really primarily guitar, claps, and most of the drum track is actually a Linn drum. Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight had come out the year before, and that uses a Linn drum. It's mostly a drum machine. But I think that maybe that part where he comes in, that might be actual real drums. And that's what Kenny did here. And Kenny knew that they were going to bring the Linn drum set in, and he's going, I'm going to lose my job. So he's like, I'll program it. I'll learn how to program it. I'll do it. So this is early technology. So he really had to dig into the manual and figure it out. And then he created the rest of the track. So no real drums, no bass, except for one little portion of the song that's like 20, 30 seconds long, and that's it. And just a very unusual format for a big hit song. Part of it, I think, at the time was that Bruce Springsteen, again, was a big figure in music. I think that he took some inspiration from Bruce Springsteen, maybe a little from Bob Dylan. And it worked out. They weren't sure if the song was ever going to make the record, and it did. Hurt So Good came out. It was actually a moderate hit. It did pretty well at first, you know. And then Jack and Diane came out, and the thing blew up. It was like number one for I don't even know how many weeks. I remember it was up there for a long, long time. There was nothing worthy to bring it back down. It's really a strong track. It's one of his strongest songs, if you ask me. But yeah, just the way that they put it together and the whole story behind it was really interesting to me, and so it made me think. You know, I want to look at this again. I want to reevaluate this song.
Yeah, just going over some of the lyrics. Life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone.
Yeah, kind of like the Bruce Springsteen. I'm in my hometown. I'm stuck here. Gosh, I wish I could run away. You know, with my girl, perhaps. Yeah, that's straight out of Thunder Road by Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
So the ideas were there, but there was a lot of that, you know, and they started calling this Heartland rock, you know, kind of based on Springsteen and, yes, John Mellencamp for sure. I mean, there were other artists doing that at the time. We touched on the fact that Dire Straits has kind of a Bruce Springsteen connection in some of their material and even uses Bruce's keyboard player, Roy Bataan, so on making movies anyway. So it was just the thing at the time. You know, it was a big deal. But that song was a milestone. And I still think it's one of the best songs to come out of that year, 1982.
Well, I guess my general impression about the story behind the song or anything, it seems like there's part of it that like want to get out of the small rural town and get to the big city where it's at. But also, it seems to be a sense of sentiment or nostalgia.
Yeah, resignation even, you know. Like, yeah, we're stuck here. That's the way it is, you know, but maybe not. But we'll see. Yeah. You know, if you have nothing else, you can still go suck on a chili dog from the Tasty Freeze, you know. That's the main thing I got out of it.
Tasty Freeze in your town or something.
All right, folks, why don't you let us know what you thought of that, if you have any memories that are associated with it, if you had the album, if you loved or hated Johnny Cougar or John Mellencamp. I would recommend revisiting some of his 80s albums, like Scarecrow. Even the one after that I thought was really good, but I can't listen to it because the drums were produced in such a way that they're just too loud and snappy for me, and I can't deal with it. But nonetheless, he wrote some good songs. I think he's worthy of some attention. Just putting that out there. But if you have other suggestions or thoughts for us, please leave those below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed the presentation, please subscribe. All right, thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one, all right? Take care, folks.
See you all later.